There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
So for nearly 2 decades, Bryan Schmitt and Mobile Solutions have been providing the industry with resources, with training, and more importantly, solutions to help out even the most modern fabricator get the job done and do it in a stylish, brilliant, modern way. Today, folks, I hope you're dialed in because we have a great show ahead. This workshop, we've got the man himself, Bryan Schmitt, in the studio, live from his workshop in Arizona, and he's going to go over a couple of the main kits that are the hottest thing right now for fabricators everywhere. This is CMA Workshop presented by SiriusXM Mobile Solutions, and it starts now. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to this CMA Workshop presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and it's in the name, y'all. It's a workshop. What does that mean? That means you are about to be treated to a process, something that you're going to learn that's being shown to you by an expert. And in this case, we're talking about Bryan Schmitt from Mobile Solutions, who of course just came off an incredible inaugural event that they pulled off called MasterTech Expo down at Mesa, Arizona, that we're going to talk about for sure. So to get things started, let's make sure we get in the studio with us. They're Canadian distributor for all things mobile solutions from BB Distribution, Mr. Jaron from BB. What's going on, Jaron?
How's it going, Ben? Long time no see.
Oh, well, I think we've been on a few together for sure, but this one is a little bit different because we're in for a treat today, aren't we, Jaron?
Yes, this one's definitely going to be an exciting one. Anytime Bryan comes on, it's definitely an exciting, and you're going to learn lots.
A teacher, he certainly is, a master of the craft for sure. And, you know, when it comes to the Mobile Solutions lineup of products, they are such an incredible resource for fabricators everywhere. So I'd like to hear from you. Why is it important that BB has Mobile Solution products within their catalog?
Well, like you said, for any fabricator out there, Mobile Solutions is definitely a great partner to have. It's, I think, a necessity when you're fabbing in the shop, making custom panels, everything, anything from router bits to some of the consumables like glues, tapes, and then his wide array of templates. For sure, they're a must in the shop.
I must say, you know, I've obviously spent some screen time with many different fabricators from all over the place, and I've always seen these templates in the background in the shop. So obviously they're being used. We're being treated today because Bryan himself will be demoing in real time live with us how some of these kits and products work, so that you guys, the dealers and the installers who are tuning in, can get a better sense of, you know, their purpose and why you need them. But I think what we're going to start with, Jaron, is, you know, a little show happened. I just mentioned MasterTech Expo. That was kind of like a out of the blue, totally unique experience that came out that Bryan was part of. It was his brainchild, and he made it happen. So real quick, your thoughts on MasterTech Expo?
Look, MasterTech Expo was definitely a huge event. Brought in lots of people, lots of vendors. Bryan handpicked some of those vendors that were just amazing. I think people went down there with willingness to learn, and they left with so much knowledge from that expo.
I've heard nothing but the same type of comments and the same type of feedback. In fact, before we get Bryan on, we got a little video for those of you who didn't make it. I know he's going to tell you all about what's happening in the second version 2.0, which will happen in 2023. But let's give you a taste of what you missed with this video that covers the first MasterTech Expo that went on this spring in Arizona. I don't even know where to begin on how many faces and legends in the game that I recognize from that quick video clip. But without further ado, let's go ahead and invite the man himself into the studio with us. Let's bring in the president of Mobile Solutions and promoter of the MasterTech Expo, Mr. Bryan Schmitt.
Hey, good morning.
Hey,
how are you
what's
guys?
going on? How are you doing, Bryan?
Doing great.
Let me start by first saying thank you for making the time today. Obviously, we know you have a busy schedule, but let me be the first on air. I think we did do a show, a 12-volt insider from the show, where we got a chance to kind of talk to you fresh right in the moment. But now that you've had, a couple of weeks and months to kind of reflect on that whole experience from MasterTech, I'd love to hear, your thoughts now that you've had a chance to kind of, think about what you just made happen, man.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting to think about in retrospect how big the show was, and all the important people there, and just that collaboration in the industry. It was a lot of fun. The idea was to really kind of blend different worlds together and have this fabricator 12-volt industry to kind of come together, and that's what makes the magic happen at this event. It's definitely special and interesting. I mean, we had some amazing presenters. We had Dave Kindig from from Bitch and Rides, a TV show, and Mark Fukuda and Wayne Harris, and a lot of old time guys, celebrities, and sharing their knowledge and some of their expertise. It was a lot of fun. The classes are really structured very differently, where you have to go through a full track of 4 sessions, which build upon each other consecutively. And we just made it a lot of fun. The actual exhibit time was like Cirque du Soleil. We had a build off going on. We had all this stuff happening, and the vendors were challenged to show the tech. They absolutely had to show the tech in their booths. It wasn't just a literature. Check out our displays. It was for the techs, and we did have some stuff for the owners, so some sales side and some ownership side as well, which I think is super important. So a lot of fun. Learned a lot for year 1. So Ben, year 2, that we're gonna push the envelope. That we're
I'm
gonna
almost
go.
scared to ask you, Bryan, like, what do you have cooking up for year 2 at this stage in the game? We're here at the end of June, almost July. And I know, if I know Bryan Schmitt, you've already been hard with the pen and pad coming up with some crazy plan. So I may as well just ask you, A, what did you learn? And B, what can we expect moving forward going into year 2?
Yeah, I think that we learned the recipe, what worked, and how to refine that so we can maximize that time. And moving forward, what you guys are going to see is a bigger scaled event. We've actually contracted the entire city block. I'll just say that. And we actually have the mayor of Mesa is going to kick off the event with his opening remarks. That's how big it is. So it's going to be huge. I can't tell you just yet who the keynotes are, but I will tell you it's some of the biggest names in automotive industry, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. The classes are expanded on, and from an attendee standpoint, guys, look, we're feeding you from breakfast to dinner. Everything is all inclusive, so you don't have to have an issue or I got to go get food or we're going to leave to a restaurant. We've got it covered, and it's awesome. Just food throughout the event. We'll have a huge barbecue at night and some other amazing events that we're going to kind of release throughout the year, kind of building up to this, but it'll be a lot of fun. I guarantee you guys have never seen anything like this. So we're super excited. I haven't been kind of quiet about it lately, but I've been very hard at work and diligently working with our team to kind of construct this next event. We're going to do one a year, and it's going to be as big and as awesome as we can make it, and that's our goal.
I have two comments here, Bryan, if I may. Number one, first of all, the great news is we're going to have many opportunities between now and then here on CMA Networks to get you on and squeeze out of you all these nuggets that you're going to put forth. And as the show evolves moving ahead to 2023, we'll have many opportunities for Bryan to come back on and tell us all these exciting news. Number two, I want to reiterate the feedback that I've received, Bryan, outside of our conversations, but from actual fabricators and installers that invested their money, their shop's money and time to come down and experience your event. The takeaway and the feedback that I've heard from these individuals has been nothing short of spectacular, and they're so amped. They realize what they were a part of, and it was something special, and that first one will always be that first one. But I think what they're looking forward to most is what you're going to do to crank up that experience, that dial ever so, even higher for the next one. Because I think it's only going to get bigger as the word spreads. Oh, I'll let you comment on that, Jaron. That's what I've been hearing from the fabricators.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get bigger and bigger and better and better. Bryan will keep layering on top of it, adding more and more and more.
All right.
He's definitely that type of guy. I think Bryan's
it's a little over the top and honestly hard to keep up with, but we got to stay on top of it because that's the way Bryan rolls. Just for the record, Bryan, where can people find information and to stay in touch with what's going on with MasterTech?
So I think we got a little bit of a delay on our signal here. I don't know if we can shut down some Wi-Fi on our side. We might have a lot of computers up and running here, but to answer the question, mastertechexpo.com is the best resource. That's the website, and we're constantly updating it. Don't think it just stays stagnant. We're going to be rolling all kinds of information for you guys that are thinking about travel for even next year. It does fill up, so we actually have a few hotels already on there as partners. I think we're going to have, and Mesa actually has been amazing, our city here, and the city planners have really worked with this. We'll have, I think, 6 hotels. And Ben, we might even have a shuttle that travels between all the hotels and picks people up in the morning at night to drop people off and pick them up in the morning, because kind of like CES used to with the buses, we'll kind of do that as well, because the event is so big, not just one hotel can accommodate.
Beautiful. Shifting gears, Bryan. I mean, obviously, we're going to continue talking about MasterTech over the season as the months progress. Today, we've got you in your shop for a very specific purpose, and that is to demonstrate mobile solutions or tools or kits or whatever it is that you have in mind. But before we do that, why do you think it's so important that fabricators today, in today's market, stay in touch with the different tools that Mobile Solutions provides and stay up to date with what's going on?
That's a great question. And I find myself, when I'm in a project, which we do a lot of projects here, and constantly trying to figure out ways, there's always, you come time block of, yes, I can do it, but I know there's a faster or an easier. And so, when I kind of roll out these tools and this development behind it, it's got to be clever, it's got to be smart, and it's got to and really give a better product. And those are the goals in mind. So, whether you have a CNC, a laser, or years of experience, we want tools to help you increase your game and buy back some minutes or even hours through. The biggest thing is if you buy some of our tools, it saves you a couple hours and you get a better product. That's a win. You just 2 hours of labor on your side of the fence, and then you can reuse it over and over again, and your whole it's longevity, efficiency, it's smart thinking, and that's the whole strategy. Can somebody do it the hard way? Sure, but that's the whole idea. Is we want to stop doing it the hardest way and have these solutions in place where you're like, oh man, just grab our template or grab this bit set that's already set up, and I'll talk more about that efficiency. So you just go, you can execute very quickly and have that efficiency in your shop.
All right. Can you give us a quick, brief overview of what we're about to learn today before we give you the whole stage?
Yeah, so I want to kind of focus on some of these handheld router techniques. This is one of my favorite tools lately. Imagine that. It's the smallest of all the routers, but it's cordless, and there's actually a whole line of them from Milwaukee, DeWalt, Bosch. We just have Makita because we're kind of locked into their battery system. I think Milwaukee makes a great product, and others do. It's not that I'm partial to this, but I do like the Makita products and I have good luck with them. But the idea is to use this hammer and do really cool designs that are flat, so we're not adding Bondo. So, for example, if you look at some of these panels I'm going to show you, the execution on them is super cool. We're adding very, very little body filler, if any, and that's just a piece of MDF. That's a 4-inch MDF, and my thing is to make a flat panel, have multiple elements, and I mean the elements of carpet, aluminum, different colors of vinyl, quick. We call it production high-end. We're doing really high-end work on a production level, and it's super fast. I'll cut down when we get it. We just built this in our last class. Look how cool that is. But it's very, very simple. That 1/4-inch MDF.
Brian,
I'm
going to stop you there. Like you're whetting my appetite. I don't even understand how you could take a piece of material and come up with this. I think we're about to experience that. For me, it's just mind-blowing stuff. I say we get into it and give Brian his stage, Jaron. What do you think? So we could find out what these tools can do and why fabricators need to know about them and have them in their arsenal.
I say we let him go at it.
We got to get the dog unleashed out of the cage and go because he's ready to go. So Brian, you have the stage. Sure, we're ready to learn.
Okay,
let's go.
All right, so kind of the first show you guys is a template system that we've come up with. It's actually over the past few years, and it kind of starts with these arc templates. This was actually the first template that I designed 18 years ago, and this is a variation of that. So we were the originators of these arc templates. Okay, an arc template, it's actually called a true arc. So this is a gigantic segment of a circle. So if you took this and continued it, it would make a circle. So it's a true arc. It's not a spline where it's just kind of a multiple arcs put together. And what makes this unique is it's got these center lines and even quarter lines. I don't know if you can see those indentations in there, but that helps you line it up. The ends are perpendicular by design, so it's a true 90 on the corner, and that's what you want for these arcs. Now, we have a lot of different variations. I think I have 6 other sets of arcs that we have big ones, small ones, and they all do different things. But these are special because they actually fit together. They actually have positive and negative, we'll call it, okay? And that's the positive radius of this template and the negative combining to this, and they fit together and they mate together on those center lines. And it even has a number right here. So it says 26 and 26. Well, that's half of the diameter. So that would be, double that, 24 is 48. That's a 48-inch circle. If you can imagine, that's how big this circle is. So that's indicating the radius on there. And you would just match these up if you want those to mate together. Now, so that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea, and they're good size. They're about 24 inches long. But what we're really talking about is this center portion of this. This is on here by design, and it actually is a track for that handheld router to write on. So it gives us a little channel for that. It's a 5/8 slot for that guided bushing in there to run in there. And what's cool is we can change that bit out to be all kinds of different stuff. And that's what we're going to do a live demo on today. So I'm just kind of want to build a case for these ARC templates. I think it's a set of 8, and there's actually some straight versions of it as well. So if you want to just do some clean lines down the center or something, that's what the slot is in the middle. The type of plastic we use, and I've done a lot of research, guys. We've had this same plastic for 18 years, and there's a reason why. It's type 1 PVC. It's unbreakable. It will bend, but the reason why we like it is it's smooth. It has a smooth finish. You can almost see that sheen, and that way you don't have to double up the tape. If you're using a substrate that has a textured surface on it, it just doesn't make sense for a template. You want something that has a smooth surface so we can have the most surface area for our two-sided tape to adhere to. And so that's why you see, I would say, most shops in North America are using our templates, and this is why right here. And I tell you what, I mean, we sell thousands and thousands of these guys, and it's a really good substrate. It machines nice, and the edge quality is phenomenal. So let's kind of get into some examples of this. Here is the actual tray, and I'll switch the camera in just a second on our Skycam, but this is a tray that goes along with this set and others. So there's actually a few other things in this family, but you have all these guided bushings right here that it tells you what size the offset is, and then you have a selection of 5 different bits, and I'll talk about the bit geometry in just a second. It's nice. It just keeps everything organized. If you take one out, you know that one is missing, so everything has a home. Again, we go back to that efficiency, is having things on trays. And this is another product that we've pioneered, that that we were the first to bring to market with a tray system. And it also has brackets for slat wall or grid wall that's engineered specifically for our trays. So if you see some of these shops where there's just rows and rows of trays, that's why, is because it just builds that efficiency. It gives a home for all of our bits and tools. So our project today is going to be this panel right here. Now, what's cool about this is I've got it halfway built. So I want to show the carpet, the V-groove transition right here, and then this top rail, and even some of these these 3 segments in the middle. This side is raw, and I'll show you the differences and why we do that and how to seam it. But what's really cool is this panel actually is held in with magnets. It all comes apart very easy. And for serviceability, it's kind of nice to have everything come apart. So the magnets are a big deal. We use them a lot, and you don't have to have that many. That actually is quite a bit, but it makes it really nice for servicing panels, hiding mounting screws, or just having access points. But it's nice. But this entire panel was built with just a couple of these. That's it. So, if you could imagine just one set of templates I could build an entire car with. It happens all the time. I have guys call me back and like, hey, I use a number 2 and number 3 ARC template, and I built this entire hot rod with just 2 templates. So you'd never know that. But if you break it down, this is how all automobiles are, they're using these true ARC styling. If it's a hood, if it's a curve, it's a dash, a fender, whatever. It's similar geometry. So let's break this part down here. So I want to just kind of do a little live demo and show you guys some of the cool techniques with this and why. Why do we use certain types of bits and what makes sense for those. So let's kind of switch gears here. I'm going to change the camera and see if I can get this to shine down your Skycam, if you will. And this will broadcast right on our table. If I can get this thing set and go to this camera. There we go. All right, so if you guys see our little workbench here, this is our router table. We got our router lift. That we have an insert that fit. This comes out, and you can put an insert in here, and it becomes a dust collection table. It actually is kind of bigger. Maybe I can have one grab me. It's called the dust mite. So you could actually do this router work right on your router table and still utilize your dust collection. But what I want to show you is this right here. So this is that one corner, or that one section of that panel that we just did. It's a piece of 3/4 inch MDF, and we're going to two-side tape it to the table and kind of give you just a little snapshot of that. I'll do just a quick little router and show you guys some of the geometry. I think it's cool to take these flat panels and give them some life without adding fiberglass and tons of body filler. And if we do body filler, I'm going to tell you what, it's probably not more than 1/4 inch high, because I hate sanding. I love to sand, but I hate sanding, and you know what I mean by saying that. So here we go. So Juan just brought this for me. This is that dust mite, if you guys are interested in checking this out. So this is the top. All these holes kind of graduate to larger holes. And then if you look at the back side of this, look at this geometry. That fits in the router table. So you take that lift out, the lift comes out, and then this fits in, and now you have a downdraft sanding table. It's really a cool and clever design. So let's keep rolling here. All right, so we're going to use these arcs, and if I set it up correctly, you can see right there, it says 24, 26, and then the 26 are paired, and then it goes to 28. And that just tells me how I can kind of mesh these two together. I'm going to show you guys this first set right here. So we'll need to tape on both sides. Just use some 1/2 inch template tape and put it on generously. If you do little sections, it's fine, if you're trying to conserve it, but I find, it's actually, if it does move, that's going to cost you more time. So we want to tape it well, and you do need it on both sides. If it didn't have that channel in the middle, you wouldn't have to do this much tape. I'm going to set this on my panel that I've already routed, okay? So now I've kind of set up this little track here. Let's talk about our bits before we go any farther. And now you can kind of see, and I'll bring these up to the camera. So this bit right here it's called a bullnose. It's a 1/2 inch bullnose, and we're actually going to have a whole bunch of stuff coming out based off of these bullnose bits. So that gives you a really cool channel. You want a router basically about 1/8 of an inch down or less with this bit right here. This is called a flat bottom V bit, and we love this. It's a flat chamfer. If you look at it, it's kind of hard for it to focus on there, but it doesn't go to a point. It actually has the center of it goes flat, and that makes it so much nicer to vinyl wrap. So when it goes to a point, it actually makes it more difficult to get that vinyl to tuck all the way down into that channel. So that little flat bottom makes a big difference. And then we go at 1/8 inch spiral, 3/16, and 1/4. They all have a purpose. So if I'm going to do vinyl and carpet, I go 1/8 inch. If I'm going to do maybe a thicker carpet and a vinyl, I'll do maybe a 3/16, or carpet on carpet, or a suede. So it just gives you a deeper channel, and you probably go 1/8, maybe even 3/16 deep. And all those bits do different things, and I'll show you that in just a second. But I just wanted to show you, and then you can see all the geometry on those trays. So it actually goes like that. So, all right. So I always like to kind of build a case and tell our viewers what we're doing before we kind of get into it. So now we've got this guy. So here's our bit. We've got that flat channel, flat chamfer bit right here loaded up with that 5/8 collet. And one thing you want to do is make sure that that lock nut is super tight on the inside there. Actually, I'll usually take it off, put some channel locks on there, and just make sure that that brass thing, the brass nut on there is super tight. This has an LED, so it's kind of two-stage. The LED tells you that it's on, and then you go, okay? This is not very deep, so we're gonna just kind of ride this in the channel, and I'll just pull it towards me, nice and easy. So there's our channel. Usually I'll just do one pass. I can't lift it up because it is stuck down, but that's a beautiful pass, 1/8 inch deep, nice channel, and that'll give us a nice texture or channel and dimension in our vinyl. So just enough so it doesn't make it flat. I just can't stand. It's just my pet peeve to just wrap a panel in flat. You can add some dimension to it so easily and charge, $50, $75 for that, for just what I did right there. How cool is that simple technique? Now, the next thing I want to show you, so we've kind of shown two things so far, the arc templates, the tray, and all these, these bits. The third component of what I'm going to show you is this. This is kind of new. This is that same thing, but we've added a guide to it. So the guide helps you balance this. Who's ever been routering and, I could take this and router against this edge, but I have a high chance of this thing tilting. I can do it, but a lot of times if I tilt even just once, then I have to come back and add body filler. And the whole idea is to not have to do that. So if we can add this handle and stabilize it so it gives us a nice base on there. And we have these for all of the handheld, the major brands out there. So it's Portacable, DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita. That's it. I'm looking for Juan for he's telling me if I got it right. So we've got a fair amount of applications for them, and we sell quite a bit of these. So I'm gonna just get this set up, about like this. If you guys can see the bit, there we go. It's about 1/8 of an inch, and not much. And I just want to have that so I have stability, and I could just come in and do the same thing. So let's just do this guide on here again. And so there's that. So I'm able to use both edges, this inside track and this outside track. And you can kind of see why. If I want to add another one, I could just keep continuing to do that. Isn't that cool? So this track right here, this is where I would change bits and I'd come back and I would do an 1/8 inch cut, and we would just cut this right across here. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and make this a little bit like a cooking show just so we don't waste a bunch of time. But this is what it would look like if, finished. So we've got the two channels that we just cut, just like I told you, and then you've got that 1/8 inch channel there. And the 1/8 inch channel allows me to put carpet on this edge and vinyl on this edge. And let me fast forward to, of course, our cooking show. And you can kind of see here. So there's your cut. So the carpet tucks in here, the vinyl tucks in here, a little dusty. But you guys can see, it adds a massive amount of different element to that. So very cool. But that's what that 1/8 inch channel does. So 1/8 inch to seam carpet and vinyl are two lines here. It's super easy. And, it's a great way to add dimension to your panels very quickly and not take up a bunch of time. And you can charge for it. You absolutely have a little prop like that up front so you can show your customers. But anyway, I'll just peel this off. Here's a couple of tips for you on the cleanup. Is I like to peel the tape, peel one piece, and then you can actually use that. We'll wad it up in a little ball and press it down, and that rips up any other pieces of tape. And we'll make like a little ball that by the end of the project you'll have like a softball basically, but it works really good. And then you can use your pry tool or whatever and peel this up. Same thing, just peel this and away you go. But there's your piece. Isn't that cool? We just did that live for you guys. So it's really a simple way for you to add some dimension to it. So let's show a few other things. Ben, how are we doing on our time? All right. So here's my two routers. Actually have 3 to 4. You can never have too many routers. Let me show you guys another example here. This, I'm going to keep that sky cam on and show you another thing that we actually just did this in our last class. So this will give you another example. I know guys they love examples. So this panel right here is kind of a different application. If you guys have this template, anyone watching on this, this is our GT template, and that's a section of it. So if you look at that section, let me see if I can pull it. There you go. So how this was done is we did same thing, took this and actually ran this channel down here, routed this edge and stopped. And then I slid this again and routed it a second time, routed this and stopped. Okay. And then I took one of the longer arcs. We actually had an arc template. I'm going to just use a straight one for an example. And did the same thing here. So ran this, changed the bit, did that 1/8 inch cut straight down, boom. And now you can see we've got those two lines right here, these kind of the design elements, and then that 1/8 inch slot right there for the carpet. So there's a couple nuggets there. So, let me just grab that 1/8 inch bit so you guys can have a reference. There's that 1/8 inch bit. Okay. It's probably an 1/8 inch down, 1/8 inch wide. That's all you need. So when I upholster this, I'll mask this side off. And well, I'll usually do the vinyl first. So I'll mask off my carpeted edge so no glue gets on the side, and I'll tuck that vinyl down in there. You can just tuck it with your tuck tool like this, tuck that vinyl down into there, and you've got glue on this side, vinyl on this side, and then you're going to mask off this side, and so no glue gets on the vinyl, and then tuck the carpet in here. Come in with your razor blade, and I'll just give you a quick demo. You've got the carpet overhanging now, and you just want to run that blade straight down that channel. Don't tilt it. Don't try to cut it at an angle. Just run it straight through. And this is your finished product. So, here you go. This is, we added a couple other things here, but that is basically the exact same panel. And look at the detail. It's a little dusty from, our router work, but this I added some aluminum, and we'd love to add that little stitch, just a little tiny top stitch. It's a top stitch where we're sewing the maroon and that black vinyl together, and it's just on that little section right here, and it just makes it have that OE look. It's super cool. But look, guys, this does have a little bit of body filler, not much, maybe like 1/4 of an inch, like I told you, and it just makes all the difference in the world. Here's some other examples as well. So same thing, just a little bit different design, but you can see by adding just a small amount, it makes a huge difference. So, I hope I'm giving you guys some ideas on some of your builds and ways to make things faster, more efficient, and just have kind of a better look to them. All right, so let me show you our next thing. So our next design is going to be this. This is going to be our smart ruler, and I think we actually have a video on this. This is one of my favorite tools right here. And it would be hard to do this, I guess without this, could you do it? I guess, but this definitely makes it a lot easier. What makes it nice is we have this straight edge right here, and the straight edge, it actually can pivot on here, and you can change the angle. And I'll tell you, anything less than 45 is really what you want, because it makes the grid more desirable. It makes those diamonds, kind of stretch out. So the idea is you're going to come in with that same bit. Imagine that, right? So we've already got this bushing guide system here, and I'm not going to do this because it will take a minute, and we are on a time budget here, but we're going to router this and run that router right in those tracks, just like that. Once I finish all of these and I graduate, I take this straight edge off, I take these off, and then we flip it to the opposing side. And we come in and do the opposing edges. So what that does, well, it gives us something pretty cool here. It gives us a whole variety of shape. And that's how you're seeing a lot of these designs out there. Look at how cool that is. And that's probably at a 30-degree angle. So if you guys, I'm just trying to show you guys up close, you know, how cool that can look. And then when you vinyl wrap it, look at that. It really gives you a cool look. You could even sew through it. So if you do this on plastic, like a Sintra, you know, I have 2 industrial sewing machines. We actually teach it in our class, and we taught it at the expo. We had a whole class on sewing. And guys, look, we're not trying to make seats and get really complicated. We're just doing French seams, double top stitch, single top stitch, and add the stitch element to it that you see in a lot of high-end cars, where it just makes the install so much more premium, and you can charge that top rate for it. But all we're doing is doing straight stitch lines. It's not complicated. But look at the back. Isn't that cool? So I'm sharing some little secrets with you guys. But all of that was developed off of this Smart Ruler XL. So this is on a promo as well. It works in conjunction with just what I showed you guys, and it's super cool. All right. So our last kind of component here is really kind of inspired, you know, from the automobile, you know, from some different automobiles, and it's a sweet template. We love this design. I want to show you how this was made. This is a different application, and I think I shared this earlier, but what it has, it's a little dirty. Like I said, we're making some dust over here, but you could see some of these elements here. This is actually aluminum that's bent in here. It's got that. This is that half round that we were talking about earlier. So this is that bullnose bit. Instead of the V groove, you can do this bullnose bit right here and press that vinyl in there. It's a really cool effect. This aluminum right here, this channel, that's when you'd want to use that 3/16 bit, okay? Because I got a 30-second on this side, a 30-second on this side, and then the actual aluminum is 1/8 of an inch. So, you know, 2 30-seconds and an 1/8, that's 3/16. So it's going to actually pressure fit nicely. And then what size do we use here? 1/8 inch. So you got an 1/8 inch bit, a 3/16, and then right here, this is a bullnose. And look at the colors, you know, so you're going carpet, dark brown, aluminum, and then light gray. 4 different materials, all in one shot, no body filler. It's just a really simple, cool way to do this. Now, how did we get the shape? So this is where our promo comes in. It's the Predator template. And it has those really aggressive lines where it dips right here, it comes out. You know, Lexus kind of has a grill like this. You could say it's kind of inspired by maybe a Lexus grill, but it's not the same. It's just inspired by it, but it does give you a super cool look. And you would just use one of these templates, and again, you're going to use this guy to come in and run along that edge and get that profile, flip it, and then you can make your own shape. So this guy is on sale, and you can use sections of it. You don't have to use the entire piece. You can just use parts and pieces of it. It's very cool, and it just saves you time. So, you know, and we're all about doing smart, clever designs that increase your efficiency, and you can make money. That's what it's all about, is the dollars. So last thing I want to show you guys is this. Here is a couple things we can talk about right here. These are different elements. Those are the same arcs. You notice the arc, But inside here, it has this big cove bit. I'm just going to back that up a little bit. It has that cove bit, and then if you advance, you can see some of these elements right here, and even this one. It just looks super cool. But that's that 3/16 bit in the center there. Same bit I've been showing you. I'm just trying to give you guys as many examples as possible to get you to think differently. So we want to do it smart. We don't want to use body filler or fiberglass if we don't have to. Sometimes you do, but it's not my go-to. And years ago, that would be the first thing that I would probably pick up is like, let's just fiberglass this entire thing. And now I want to think smart. I want to think efficiency. Hey, I've got 2 hours to build a really nice panel that I want to charge $300, $400, or $500 for, and be done in one day. And that's the idea is high efficiency with the right tools. And I think that we can help you guys with that for sure. So let me switch back. And Ben, if you guys want to come back on, I think that kind of wraps up most of my demos here for you.
Bryan,
Yes.
can you just come on every day on CMA and give a little demo like this? This is just so much fun to watch and see, what it like when you first show me that final product. I'm like, there's no way. Like looks like it's out of a Mercedes Benz or something. You know what I mean? Like that took some complicated, like German engineering, craziness. And then you show me one template and a router. And that's what it is. It's hard to believe that's all it is until you explain it. I don't know, Jaron. That's what I felt.
No, that's how I feel with most of Bryan's panels. It's like, oh, that's a lot of body filler, and like he says, he barely uses any body filler.
It's unbelievable. So okay, hold on. I have a whole bunch of notes here, Bryan. Give me a second to get my stuff ordered. In the meantime, while I get my notes together, Bryan, you mentioned we had a video about that ruler kit.
Yeah.
We do have a video. So I want to play that video. Let the guys kind of absorb what that's all about. When we come back, I'm going to bombard you with a whole bunch of questions. Let's go ahead and roll the tape. I'm gonna give kudos to whoever is part of your team that does these 3D rendering videos. It is so descriptive. Like, yeah, next level stuff. Do all the tools have videos that go with it, Brian? Just
We're
curious.
trying. We're trying. We have about 6 or 7 videos like that.
I mean,
so.
I'm not gonna say it was better than you doing it live, but it's certainly I could freeze that and totally follow along. You know what I mean with every step.
Good.
And make that happen. So, Jaron, I'm going to give you the opportunity because I got a lot to say, so I'm going to let you go. What was your favorite demo or piece, and or anything you want to comment on?
I definitely think my favorite piece, it's probably one of my favorite pieces ever since I've been dealing with Bryan stuff, is that smart ruler technology. Just that diamond pattern, like to look at, make it look so simple in that video to do it, where I just want to make diamond shapes in all my panels, because it just really brings up that level. And that, like, that diamond pattern is so common in hot rodding now. It's so common in high-end interiors, and that's definitely why Bryan picked that pattern. But to find an easy way to do it, it's just great. You could almost just sit in your shop in downtime and just put diamonds in all your MDF, and then when you're making panels, you just have diamonds everywhere.
When Bryan started with that ruler, I wasn't sure where he was going with it. Like, I don't know, like, when do we actually do lines like that? You know what I mean? And then when he crisscrossed, I was like, oh, that's what he's trying to do. My comment on the diamond pattern is, you know, I think you nailed it, Bryan, when you said that little added value visual aesthetic for a customer means upgrade, means a higher price that he would pay to have that type of finish versus just a blank canvas. I mean, anybody could do the blank canvas, but if you're the only shop that could come out with that pattern and then now add layers to it, like you said, Bryan, you know, the vinyl and the stitch, I mean, that's premium, and people will pay for premium, right?
100%. That's what it's all about. Top dollar for the
top dollar
for the least amount of work.
That's not a bad philosophy.
You know, we're not trying to be lazy, but we're just trying to do it smart. So it's smart work.
Efficient.
You know, we're efficient. We're clever. We want to maximize every minute in the day, and that's what I look at. We all fight the clock, and you know, hey, if we got tools that make us save that time, like I mentioned earlier, that's a win.
Can I comment on one of my favorite pieces? So I love how you use I believe it was a 1/8 inch bit to make that groove, so you could slide two different materials together and have like that seamless connection between the two materials. What I thought took it to that next level is when you went to that 3/16 with that aluminum trim. See that, when you introduce aluminum into fab like that, that's just, again, that's like diamond, right? It's like next level. Like,
it's
if you're
pretty
the
sexy.
only guy in town, like, it's so sexy. It's ridiculously sexy. And it's just a thin piece of aluminum, but it makes all the difference in the world. And all it was a bit. I mean, I cannot believe it. That's just mind-blowing.
Thank you.
I want to get into the head of Bryan Schmitt a little bit here. So, you know, when fabricators, when installers, when dealers are looking at your products, can you talk to us a little bit about the process and the energy and the mind and the time that goes into developing all these type of products?
So yeah, I mean, it's a lot, and you know, Ben, you and I know that. You know, I've been at this a long time, and you know, started a long time ago. And my background is really mechanical engineering. That was going to be my job as a grown up, and I just never did that grown up job. And so I went to school, and you know, CAD has always been my thing, even back in high school. So you know, we were early adopters of technology and CNC laser stuff before everybody had theirs. And you know, I really never made it really public, but that technology has always trickled into this. And I think of that when I fab, if you're building analog or if you're building digital, you still have to blend the two worlds together. And you know, I feel like that, you know, we really try to push that envelope, you know, and I collaborate with some of my friends. Some of the stuff that is, you know, we talk about together, or we even share ideas, you know, so you know, it's a lot of fun. Our community is awesome, and it's just going to continue to get better and better. And like I said, just having smart design is so important for, the way you work, the way you execute, and the way you charge for your customers. So
And this is
that's
going to continue to evolve. I mean, trends as they come, style, fashion, as the automotive industry and design continues to move forward, obviously, you're going to be there to continuously adopt what the latest trends are and come up with solutions for it.
always a step ahead.
All right. Let's back up out of the I guess the field for a second. So I'm a fabricator. Bryan, you had me at template. Your first arc, I got it. What opportunities? So we've talked about Master Tech Expo. We've talked about all these great mobile solution tools that are available either directly through you in the States or through BB distribution in Canada. If I want to learn more, what other opportunities are there that I could catch more Bryanness?
So we'd have several options, now more than ever. Right behind me, this modern fab is a current class that we're running this year, and we're only doing a few. It's very special, and we have guests come in, and it's just that it's a modern way of using technology. We do share some digital stuff, some analog stuff, stitching, all kinds of different elements, lighting, blended in this class, and that's an awesome opportunity for everybody to come to. And we welcome anyone globally to come to our class. An easier and probably more accessible way is School of Fab, and you can see our little logo here. That is something that Mark and I do from Car Audio Fabrication, and we typically do it once a month. And it's usually the first part of each month, and we'll do all kinds of tidbits and stuff live. It's a legit show where I'm showing some live demo. I usually build something from start to finish, probably 30 to 45 minutes of actual fab time where we do it accelerated. So that's another option too. If you guys wanted to come to that, you can tune in. It's free if you want to watch it live. If you want to watch it after the fact, you can be a Patreon and get all the episodes and upload them as well. So it's kind of like if you got all the episodes, it'd be a gigantic training for you. We'd love for you guys to be a part of that. And then I think the third and last way is to come to, and I feel like everybody should come to the expo. It is the event of the year. I'm telling you, there is going to be so much knowledge and brain trust there. Imagine if this was drag racing or Indy 500 or NASCAR, and all the crew chiefs went to one place and shared all of their race techniques and how they tune their engine. That's what's going on here. The tuners shared their golden secrets in one place for a very short amount of time, and you get to see guys doing live build off, just thrashing on a stage. And I have about 3 other elements that I cannot tell you that make this a complete Circus Olay.
I was going to let you
event.
go and see how far you're going to take that.
Maybe spills the
So
beans.
you've
Yeah.
got to come to the show. Don't miss it. You will hate yourself if you don't.
Can I
So,
add one
that's
more
it.
thing, Bryan? Can I add one more
Yes.
thing? Don't forget, you are
Sure.
rubbing shoulders with the best fabricators on the planet in one place in one time. Let's not forget that part.
Yes, this is true. Hey, we all put our pants on the same way, and some just have more tricks than others. So
There you
it's
go.
a lot of fun.
While I have you on, Bryan, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this question. What advice do you have for aspiring fabricators or veteran fabricators, for that matter, to help best maximize their skills, improve on their skill set, and to incorporate the tools that you make for them?
So my best advice is you have to invest in yourself. Your skill set is not going to advance by itself. It's only going to advance by the time you put into making yourself better. So if that's reading, watching ways to learn, and then practicing, you really got to practice and execute all the time and try new things. Get out of your comfort zone. So don't just keep building the same thing over and over again. Don't just keep doing a deck and two. Get out of that comfort zone and push yourself. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. And that's how you go to that next level. If you just stay comfortable, you're never going to get out of that comfort zone. So by pushing yourself, you're going to want to aspire to grow, build bigger stuff, charge more, build your clients, your client base. And it's so satisfying. I started with very humble beginnings, and I never forget that. And we would stay late and learn stuff. I'd go to every manufacturer training just because I wanted to suck up every bit of knowledge I could. And that's how you learn. That's how you get ahead. That's how you go to that next level. And whether you're working for somebody or you're a shop manager or you have your own business, this industry is a lot of fun. I think it's one of the few that you can just have a blast being creative, making music with gadgets and cool cars, and we can just build cool shit all the time. Who gets to do that? And we make money.
We
So,
do.
yeah, we do. And you want to make it fun, but also it's got to be a continual progression of self-education and pushing yourself to that next level. That's my advice.
You heard it here, guys. You heard it here. Bryan Schmitt, thank you so much for coming in, sharing us again your knowledge, being so generous with that, and of course, showing us a couple of the tools that you guys, the installers, definitely need to order and get your hands on. Bryan, until next time, of course, I'm going to squeeze you every single time from here until MasterTech. You can count on it.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Take care, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right, Jaron. That was an amazing demo, first and foremost. One of the best I've seen, anyhow. What news do you have for shops and installers that might have tuned in right here to the end?
So Bryan's going to be running a special in the US. In Canada, we will be running similar special with them. Keep an eye out on our BBE news going out, our social media channels as well. And CMA will also help us out in sending some out to the dealers as well on specials on some of the tools that Bryan talked about, for sure. The must needs of the shop, right?
Absolutely. So make sure to stay tuned for all these specials that both Bryan and Jaron are referring to. I want to make one comment here, and that is, Bryan is an incredible resource for the industry, and the products that he comes up with come from a place of experience, a place of business ownership, and a place of fabrication. And he's been doing it for 18 years. He's the original, and there's a reason for it. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. If you want to learn more about their products, you see on the screen right there, mobilesolutions-usa.com is where you're going to go and peruse for all the products that they offer. And if you're a Canadian dealer, well, you don't have to look too far. bbdistribution.ca. Give them a call. They've got the entire line of Mobile Solutions products in stock. Jaron, thank you so much for joining us once again for this one.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Take care. All right. On that note, make sure you continue tuning in to CMA Networks right through till Friday, July 8th, as we continue for audio accessories, a whole new grouping of customers and brands that we're going to go through and go one-on-one each and every single day as we go through the jungle of mobile audio accessories. And if you haven't already, make sure you visit our website, cmanetworks.com, where you'll find this and hundreds of more videos covering everything you need to know in 12-volt electronics today. Search by brand, search by category, or check out our trainers such as Bryan, who has his own playlist on there as well. I'm going to give a shout out to Bryan for joining us today and giving us this phenomenal demo on this workshop. And stay tuned. We got lots more where that came from. This is CMA Workshop presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?